Hello, I am Rin Coleridge. I'm with the San Francisco Health Service System, the short video training for how to respond to the dependent eligibility verification audit and specifically how to disenroll your ineligible dependent. Our objectives from today's training are to give you an overview of what DEVA is, also point you to where you can find some help, and how you will disenroll your ineligible dependent. So DEVA stands for Dependent Eligibility Verification Audit, and the San Francisco Health Service System conducts these audits to help contain the costs of healthcare. In our membership rules section E, there's language that we may require proof of dependent eligibility at any time, covering those ineligible dependents. Just increases all the overall healthcare costs for all the eligible dependents. And so during this audit, you've received a letter and you're being asked to provide documentation to verify if your dependent is still eligible. On the other hand, if you realize your dependent is no longer eligible, you will disenroll that person. And so that's what this video is focused on, showing you how to disenroll. If your dependent is still eligible and you would just like to send us the supporting documentation, that's the other video about how to load your supporting documentation. And just a little note that if you have a dependent child of a domestic partner who's no longer eligible, or if you have stepchildren, so your spouse's child and that spouse is no longer eligible, then those children are also no longer eligible. On our website, sfhss.org/DEVA is where you will find all the information about how to respond, what this is. There are step-by-step instructions there for the video training I'm going to do here with you today, so that if you'd like to then also have a step-by-step, you're able to do that. Now, how do you respond? So to do it online, you're going to go to myapps.sfgov.org. This information was in the letter that you received. On the other hand, if you would prefer to not do it online, you can also go to the retiree pages of our website and download an enrollment form, and you can complete that to disenroll your ineligible dependent and then return that either by fax, mail, or you can even drop it off. And so at this point, I'm going to flip over to my browser so that I can show you how to drop your ineligible dependent online. And again, just a quick nod, here's our website. I've gone to the retiree section, and in that retiree section is where you can go ahead and grab documents and forms, and so you'll have the enrollment form that you'll fill out to send to us. More expedient, however, is doing it online. And so I'm going to go to that myapps.sfgov.org. If you previously registered for eBenefits and you have not logged in at least 90 days, you will have to reset your password. So click on that Forgot Your Password link. If, on the other hand, you have never enrolled in eBenefits, there is a link at the very bottom. This text says First Time Registration for Retirees, City College, or SFUSD. So you can click that to register your account for the first time. We do have another video. You can find that on the DEVA page of our website that'll take you through the first time registration process. That is not the focus of this particular video. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in because I am already a registered user. Part of my login, I'm going to have to answer the secret question. It's another, it helps if I get it right. It's another form of security layer. It's that multi-factor authentication. So having to provide a couple ways to get into the system. Now, this is a test environment. So what you see may look different from what I see, but you should have just a tile that says SF, Employee Portal, and you will go ahead and click on that and the Employee Portal will load. Same thing. The screen will look different from what you were seeing because I'm an active employee, so I get a whole lot more links on my page. But what's important is that on the bottom here under this employee link section is an e-benefits section, and you want to come down here to the one that says Submit a Qualifying Life Event. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then this Welcome to Life Events page will load. On the very bottom, the event that's there says, I received a dependent eligibility verification notice. So go ahead and click that and then click on the Continue button. At this point, you have a choice to make. The first choice is that your dependent is still eligible and you just want to give us that documentation. Again, refer to the other video because that's where we take you through that workflow. In this example, you realize your dependent is no longer eligible and you just want to go ahead and drop them. So you're going to click that second radial button and you'll click Continue. Again, there is a link to our website and the DEVA page where you can find help and assistance. So when you first come into eBenefits here and this life event is being opened up and created, the first step is to click on the Begin Your Benefits Enrollment. When this next page loads, you'll first see a list of your current dependents. My page is a little bit out of sequence, so I'm going to go back and force it into that sequence. And so I see, oh, here's my spouse listed, but I know actually my spouse and I have since divorced, didn't realize I still had him on my plan. So I'm going to edit, click that edit button, and I'm going to disenroll, first make some changes and indicate that this person, by clicking this edit again, is actually no longer my spouse. So I'm going to, on relationship to employee here, I'm going to click in that box and I'm going to find ex-spouse. So those are the choices. If it was spouse, there's ex-spouse. If you had a other IRS dependent, which is your tax favored domestic partner or domestic partner, then you would choose ex-domestic partner. But here I'm going to choose ex-spouse. I'm going to change my marital status to divorced. And I'm going to go ahead and save that information. Now you'll notice actually that dependent doesn't even show up here anymore because as an ex-spouse, they are not eligible for health coverage. So that was step one of what we need to do, which is just update us to what the status is with your dependent. And then the next step will be to actually disenroll them from your plans. I would like to make a call out here. There is an emergency contact section here, and you can click this pencil to edit and get in and give us your emergency contact information. If you've never given that to us before, this is a good opportunity to do that. And you can just click the plus button to do that. Add a new one, and then you can also delete your old one because chances are, if this was your spouse before, they may have been the person you listed for us. And now if you are no longer with that person, you may want to make sure you're giving us an updated contact. So I'm going to save and continue. Again, we've now completed the first step, which is to change the status of your dependent. And now we're moving into the next item, which is disenrolling. And so first, it's going to ask if you agree with the elections shown above. Keep in mind, you won't see everything I'm seeing here because I'm an active employee. But of course, we don't agree because we know we need to disenroll a dependent. So I'm going to click no. By clicking no, it'll now step me through all of my benefit choices, beginning with medical. So the way that you disenroll a dependent is, and incidentally, that's all you can do here. You can't make other plan changes or whatever under this event. I'm going to click that checkbox next to my spouse's name and deselect it. And when I do that, you see it changed from my member plus one to member only. So now I have disenrolled them from medical. I'll save and continue. And if I had this dependent in dental or in a Vision Premier, I would do the same thing. And in fact, I do. So you see there's the check by my now ex-spouse. I'm going to click on it to deselect that dependent. Click Save and Continue. And now I'm going to get to the Vision Premier. That Vision Premier is a buy-up on top of your medical coverage, and so system's doing part of it for me because it sees now there's only me in medical, so that means there should only be me in this Vision Premier, and that's what this message here is about. If it was still selected, you could just click the button and deselect it, but I will save and continue. And that is now all of these screens that you will have as a retiree. You can review your elections. And when you look at who is covered, you should see the N by your now ineligible dependent. If you did have stepchildren or a child of a domestic partner, you would have followed the same steps to disenroll them as well. And then I'm going to click on that continue button because everything looks right to me. And then you just need to submit. This is the usual disclaimer language that's either on the back of our forms, or if you've done e-benefits before, there's nothing new here. That's just all the allows us to have the deductions out of your paycheck, and it gives you the plan arbitration language. So I'm not going to read that all for you. At this point, you are almost done. You can click here to print a confirmation statement of what you've done, showing that you had disenrolled those dependents. You can see the N there again. And if you have a printer, you're welcome to print it out. If you don't, you could always just save as PDF and save this document somewhere on your computer, or if you're using a tablet or a phone, you could do it that way as well. So I'm just going to call this, dropped window. So I've got my document that says I took these steps, and then I can just click the X in the top there, save and continue, and I can now exit from this. You will not have this voluntary benefits page. Disregard that. That is only for active employees. And you have, in fact, completed the steps for disenrolling your ineligible dependent. So that's how you do it online. Again, if you've never registered before, you'll find another video on the DEVA page that shows you how to go through that first-time registration, and also any other questions you may have. Or if you want to do the paper version, you'll have to go to our website to download the form. If you end up with questions, so you have problems logging in, or you need to reset a password or a technical issue, go ahead and call our member services at 628-652-4700, and we can go ahead and help you with your questions. Thank you very much for taking the time to respond to our dependent eligibility verification audit. Again, if you do not respond, your dependents will be dropped. So you want to make sure that you respond with either dropping that ineligible dependent or providing us that documentation that we require. Thank you very much.